Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I am Laura Diffendal, and I am the Belize correspondent for International Living. If you like our videos, please hit like and subscribe below. And like our channel, you can click the bell icon to get notified of all of our new uploads. You can also leave a comment below, and you can also email me directly at belize@internationalliving.com. Thank you for joining us today, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the many ways you can live, work, and stay in Belize. There are many options, and I'm going to touch on the most popular channels people tend to use to stay in the country, either temporarily as a snowbird or as a working expat. So the first thing you need to know is about the tourist visa or tourist stamp. And you will be stamped when you enter the international airport, and the stamp you will see is good for 30 days. If you plan on staying longer than 30 days, here's a little insider tip. Give yourself a notification of when that date is up. It's right in your passport, you can't miss it, but make sure you remind yourself. You'll find countless stories about people who just overlook the day. You get caught up in all the fun things in Belize, and you can easily forget when that date is up. So it's very simple. On or before that 30-day stamp, you are going to go and visit your local immigration office, and you're going to tell them you would like your next tourist stamp. And the good news for those of you coming in now is there is just starting to be the opportunity to get 60 or even 90-day stamps. This was not an option several years ago. Like any government program, there's an ebb and flow of restrictions, of rules, of how tight or restrictive the government agencies are. And several years ago, you may hear about some problems people had with people finding a fast track to residency, and they really clamped down for a while. You weren't able to get anything longer than a 30-day stamp several years ago, but now that's more of an option. You can't expect it. It's not something that will be automatically given. It's more of a word of mouth thing, but it is allowed to be done, and you will find many agents will be willing to do that if you let them know you are planning on staying longer. Not a guarantee, like everything. It depends on the agent, it depends on the day. They may have gotten a training the day before. It's one of those you have to be very humble and very accepting of what you are given at the immigration office. They have a very important job, they have a lot of power, and being very respectful is always the best way to get what you want from them. And for the cost, the first 6 months, you get your stamp. It is $25 US for every 30 days. And after 6 months in the country, that goes up to $50 US. If you leave the country, it resets itself and you go back to $25. So another option people have is the Qualified Retired Persons Program, QRP. This is a program through the Belize Tourism Board. You'll also hear me say BTB. And this program is for expats that are 45 years old or older. And one of the best benefits is you can bring in a lot of your stuff, your cars, golf carts, your household goods for no duty. So Belize is not a manufacturing country. There is not a lot of big box stores. It's a very non-materialistic country. So this is it's a big benefit, a very big benefit for those that are planning on staying for a long time. One of the negatives for some people is that you absolutely cannot work on QRP. This is for a retired person, so you cannot buy a business. You really cannot work on that program. So keep that in mind. You also will need to show proof that you have $2,000 US every month. That is one of the requirements, and it has a yearly renewal. So you get a little QRP card, and that does allow you to get in the residency line when you come in at the airport, and you do not have to get that monthly stamp. For those of you that do want to work, the most popular path is the work permit. This is not cheap or easy, but it is doable. There's two kinds of work permits. You can do a self-employed work permit if you are buying a business, or you can try the route of a regular work permit. Unless you are being hired specifically by a company, they will work with you in those cases. The regular work permit, if you're doing it on your own, is quite hard to get. I know several expats that have gotten it, But the number one requirement is that you cannot be taking away a job that a Belizean can do. They are very protective of Belizean jobs for very good reason. And so it's very hard if you want to do something like bartending, serving, things that are in the tourist industry are quite hard to get because there's plenty of Belizeans that will want and be able to get those jobs. And the self-employed work permit is obviously tied to documents that you will have for your business. And that one is a little bit more of a, there's a process, there's many steps, but you can get it. And there is current rumors that the prices of the work permit may be going up, so we will keep you posted when we get concrete information about that. One side note about buying a business, this could be a whole other video, but some people will come in and buy a business that's sort of ready-made. The licenses are in place, it is a running business, there's already employees there, and what's the biggest benefit of doing that is you're buying the previous owner's work, you're buying their connections, you're buying all of the work that went into getting their licensure, their liquor permit, and all those things. So you can start from scratch, and I have done it both ways myself. Buying a business is much, much easier and much better. There's a pretty large learning curve to starting from scratch. It takes a lot of grit and a lot of hoops to jump through if you want to do it that way. One of the other very, very popular routes people will take is to go for residency, and the number one requirement for residency is you come to Belize and you commit to staying 50 weeks out of the 52 weeks in a year, and then you can apply for your residency. After you have your residency, you can work in any job that you want to work in. You have the regular rights of any resident Belizean. So that is one. If you hear one regret of people that came here and for whatever reason didn't commit to the 50 out of 52 weeks, they often say, I should have done it for that first year. So it's a little bit of also insider knowledge you'll hear a lot. And a lot of people will also ask about, am I allowed to work online? And you're going to see a lot of controversy about this topic, because some people say if you're working in any capacity, you have to have a work permit. There's other people that will say if you are working online for a U.S. company in a job that you could work anywhere in the world, that is allowed. You don't have to report it. What I suggest to you is it's good to follow the rules of the country that you are in. It is good to be able to sleep at night. And I suggest that you run any questions through BTB. This is a very easy process. You can get right on their website and ask questions right from their site. It would take you just a few minutes and can kind of get rid of some anxiety or uncertainty in that area. Another new program I want to talk about is the new program called Temporary Residence Program. And this is for people that have invested in Belize, they have a business, but for whatever reason, they were unable to do the 50 out of 52 weeks. A lot of people have family or businesses back home, and they just are not able to do that one requirement. And this program is through the Immigration Office, not the Belize Tourism Board. And if you try to look up information online right now, it's so new that it's very, very hard to get information. Belize is a young country. There is a lot of sort of word of mouth knowledge that happens. And I do know several people going on the temporary residence program right now and trying it out, but I don't have a lot of concrete evidence to say, yes, it works, no, it doesn't, here's exactly how it works. What I have heard as the best piece of advice is when you come visit, go and visit the immigration office. There's one in most big towns, and ask them about it. And you can get a list of the requirements and ask any questions you might have. So those are the basic channels, and I recommend that you do a lot of research online. There are some wonderful, wonderful expat Facebook groups, and you will find people that have gone every route, have changed their mind, and they'll give you the pros and cons. A really good one is Belize Expats. It's got almost 15,000 expats. They can be brutally honest, but I think it's very helpful because the small town mentality in Belize allows for a lot of very honest discussions, Corazal versus Placencia versus San Pedro. the benefits, the pros and cons of every area. People that have lived all over the country are willing to share for free all of their experiences with immigration offices in different places. It's a really good place. You could probably spend hours. Another hint about that group: there are years of questions, and in those Facebook groups, you can actually find the little search bar. And if you typed in there QRP, work permit, you type in those search, you're going to come up with years of research and questions and answers that people have. A lot of times in those groups, if you just ask the question without doing that research, a lot of people might say, go and do the search. So it's valuable, priceless information that you can get. You are also welcome to email me at belize@internationalliving.com. If I do not know the answer to your question, I will do my best to get you in the right direction of the person that can answer it. So thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you in Belize very soon.